Around 13 million men in the UK will experience noticeable hair loss by the age of 35 years old, but a quarter of those begin to see the first signs before the age of only 21.
I was worried, I was anxious about what will they think, what will other people think, what will my family think, what will friends think, what will just the people on the street think of me losing hair.
When we live in a society so focused on image, could this process have an effect on young males' mental health?
If you're bombarded by the media, by people that are perfect or look perfect, you feel insecure because you start comparing yourself. That's what we do, human beings.
Although it is a regular occurrence, a survey conducted just over 3 years ago by the hair care range MR revealed that nearly 1 in 5 men would rather lose their job than their hair. Which then begs the question, is this survey true? And if hair's so valuable, would losing it affect someone's self-esteem? Should men just shave it? Or should they try and save it? Hair care is very important to cultures around the world. Many people spend a lot of money trying to maintain its quality. Others can be more adventurous and experiment with extensions, colours, and different styles. Historically, literature has shown that men's hair has been linked to power. An example comes from the biblical story of Samson and Delilah. The source of his strength was his hair, until Delilah cut it off when he was sleeping. Male androgenetic alopecia, or as it's more commonly known, male pattern baldness, is a common form of hair loss. Men can often notice scalp hair loss or a receding hairline at any time after puberty. At the age of 17, I noticed I was experiencing this process for myself. It took me a long time to admit it was taking place, and because it happened in less than 4 years, the drastic change of appearance was tough to come to terms with. I was so self-conscious that I even went to the extent of taking pictures of the top of my crown just to reassure myself it wasn't happening. I was scared people would comment on it, and when they did, it was very difficult to listen to. And because of my financial position, there wasn't anything I could do to stop it either. Thankfully now, I've never been more comfortable with the way I look. However, I'm curious to find out if anybody else has experienced the same feelings that I did. And if they had, what can be done to combat them? Some dermatologists think the increasing focus placed on appearance through the media is another factor that makes younger people more sensitive to hair changes. Lots of celebrities have experienced hair loss. A number of them have embraced the change and made it a part of their public persona by either cutting it short or shaving it off completely, whereas others have had a transplant. I wanted to get a professional's insight into this subject to find out if hair loss can be linked to mental health, and if so, how.
If you think that hair is associated with vitality, virility, strength, and losing your hair is associated with aging, and aging is a big no-no, I would say globally.
Why do you think young guys are so bothered about their body image and the way they look?
Well, if you're bombarded by the media, by people that are perfect or look perfect, you feel insecure because you start comparing yourself. That's what we do, human beings. We compare ourselves to our neighbors, we compare ourselves. But it's different. The media seems to have like kind of a power, especially for young men, because people spend an awful long time in front of media.
I didn't know that the media would have such a deep impact on the way young men viewed themselves. But to really get to the bottom of this subject, I need to speak to somebody who has been through the process of hair loss. 34-year-old Mark Elson first realised he was going through hair loss when he was in his 20s. I've known Mark for about 5 years now, and I remember talking to him about when he decided to shave his head, and how he had felt before he did it.
Morning.
How you doing?
Hello.
You okay? You right?
Mind if I come in?
Yeah, coming through.
Thank you very much.
At the moment, I'm a teacher in the primary school, and my wife's a nurse, so I'm married, and I've got 2 children, 4-year-old Ruby and Olivia. She's coming 1 soon. So yeah, I was thinking that maybe that's one reason why I've lost my hair, because I'm a family man and the kids drive me crazy. But no, I love them. I was worried, I was anxious about what will they think, what will other people think, what will my family think, what will friends think, what will just the people on the street think of me losing hair. It's not something I wanted to go through, and if I could choose right now, I would have hair. But right now I'm in a place where I'm more than happy to not have it, and I actually feel freer not having it.
When you say freer, what kind of things were making you feel like you were maybe in chains before?
It was a big thing, worrying about what they would. That was a big thing with the group. Worried what they would think, but then it carried on to worrying what would children think, what would my family, and it was just like going over and over. And I think I got pretty anxious and about whether I would shave it off or not.
This conversation really reminded me of how everyday tasks are affected by being worried about the way your hair looks to other people.
I went to the hairdressers a couple of times and they would cut my hair and obviously style it, and I'd say, do you think I should shave it off? And they go, well, it's your hair, you know. And I'm wanting them to say, shave it off, to think, yeah, it's fine, I want someone else to tell me to do it. And I just couldn't pick up the courage because I kept covering up, and I think there was too much to cover. And I think it looked a little bit silly in the end, because say if I went swimming, I'd have to cover it. And I couldn't swim freely because I knew by the time I get up, when I get up, I know I've got to do that. And no one's really bothered but me. And it's something that you play in your own mind. What will people think when I get up now? It's going to look silly. And I think the moment when I shaved it up and I got up and I was swimming, I was like, I don't care, because it is what it is. I'll get up in the morning, don't have to do nothing. You know, I can get out of the house quick.
635,000 hair restoration procedures were performed across the world in 2017. Within the next 5 years, the value of the transplant industry is projected to increase from 12 billion to 19 billion pounds. You would have thought that a multi-billion-pound industry would have as many clinics as fast food chains have restaurants. But if you're wanting hair restoration treatment, you're most likely going to have to come to here, to Harley Street, in central London. Transplants involve taking an area of follicles from the back of the head and surgically implanting them on the top of the crown, or wherever the client wishes. Within several months, the results can be remarkable. Sharon from Better Hair Transplant Clinics works with clients to make sure they're comfortable with their treatment process. Do you think hair transplants are good for young men who are losing their hair?
If they're too young, obviously we would recommend alternative methods, and we'll discuss that with them about losing and their family history, because that's important. So it's not just about, yeah, you need a hair transplant, we'll get you in, take your money. It's about educating them that they are going to lose their hair further, and the methods that they can use to stop that progression, as long as they're doing the hair transplant as well as the other treatments. They should get a fantastic result. Otherwise, in a few years' time, they're going to lose more hair and then have to come back and have further surgery.
And what are the price ranges that your clinic offers?
We start at around 3.5 upwards, so it depends on the individual.
So it's 3,500,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the individual, whether they need 1 or 2 hair transplants. But a small hairline, you would be looking at 3,500 upwards.
And what's the most expensive one that you guys offer?
We probably would say about 6,000.
I've known personally people where I have done hair transplant surgery. Subsequently, they have gone into successful relationships, or they have had job interviews and they have been successful. I had a patient young man, 24-year-old, and after doing it was a sort of medium-sized procedure, and even he hasn't had growth, but his confidence and his looking forward to growing hair grew so much. He was an IT person who was declined as a shop assistant in Next, got a job in Twitter in Soho. And that was a month into, because the hair transplanted hair do not grow for about 3 months. They sometimes literally cry. The tears come through, in their eyes.
Because they're so happy that
they're so happy.
Yeah.
And or they hug you, and that for us is the soul lifting moment. It really lifts your soul.
Because transplants cost so much, people have tried to find cheaper alternatives. These black market procedures have been known to go wrong, with clients then having to fork out thousands to fix the damage.
I would say don't do it. Hold on as long as possible and try to find other ways of looking into it, because this is due to the madness, I think, that is happening in most societies, you know, the obsession about appearance. In a way, to go and do say the hair transplant would be the easy way out, yeah? And the other way is development, is developing your body, your spirit, you know, and learning something about you that is going to carry you through your life, which is strength.
So as you can tell, I've gone through the process of losing my hair. If I came to you now as a client, yes,
Well done.
yes, thank you. If I came to you now as someone who was seeking counselling, what would you sit down and talk to me about?
I would certainly explore the options that they might feel comfortable in order to help them. Yeah, so if they're experiencing a lot of anxiety, even in my own sessions, we would be able to do some few minutes of meditation.
Everybody I spoke to had some encouraging words for those people coming to terms with hair loss.
Just to get to make sure you have the confidence in yourself to just think, sod it, I'm going bald, and just get on with your life. You know, there's no point moping about and keeping indoors. You know, as much as you can. I'd get you to go out and be social and just be you, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's what's inside, not on the outside.
I remember a young man who was 6'2" tall and very handsome, and he didn't have a good donor area, so I said to him, I'm very sorry, but hair transplantation is not a good option for you. He got up and shook my hands, and he said to look at me and smiled. He said to me, I wish, doctor, I had your hair. I looked at him and I said to him, I wish I had your height. And I said, look, we all can't have everything we want.
If you like yourself that way, keep yourself same. They thinking about other people, what they thinking about his hair. I wouldn't think like that. If I like myself like this, I can keep myself like that. I don't care the other people, what they think. You know?
One of the things, and this is kind of deep as well, but one of the things I worried about when I started to go through it was obviously because it's your appearance. I almost worried sometimes that if I were to lose my hair, I wouldn't be as attractive as I would be with it, and therefore it's completely irrational, but like my chances of having a wife were almost affected as well.
I would say don't worry about it. I think in terms of a partner, they should accept you for who you are. You just got to be confident for who you are. And yeah, everyone gets older and they get wrinkles, or some people get grey hair, some people, you know, their changes. People change. It's just a part of life.
Discussions about body positivity have become a regular feature in mainstream media over recent years. I'm glad that people like Mark are coming forward to discuss their physical insecurities, because not only does it help me realise I'm not the only one, but it highlights that this is a legitimate conversation we should be having.